Have you ever heard of a judge getting punished? Have you ever seen a judge getting publicly punished? Roll the clip.
Judge Baily, you are here before the court today because of misconduct in your official role as a judge. By your conduct, Judge Baily, you have injured the public's trust and confidence in our state courts.
This judge was punished for 3 things that he did during just one afternoon during a criminal jury trial. Judge Baily, now former Judge Baily, after getting voted out of office following his punishment, was presiding over a criminal jury trial in Florida. During the proceeding, while the jury was in the courtroom, the attorneys approached the bench for a sidebar to discuss an objection. A sidebar, in case you didn't know, is a brief discussion of the law or facts with the court that is typically on the record but is not supposed to be heard by the jury. While discussing the objection, defense attorney number 1 attempted to explain his objection, but the judge didn't understand. So his co-counsel, defense attorney number 2, attempted to explain. They weren't talking over each other, and at all times the defense attorneys were speaking respectfully to the judge. How the judge responded to defense attorney number 2 attempting to help defense attorney number 1 is what landed him in trouble. Judges are required to follow a set of ethical principles and standards known as judicial canons. Not canons, but canons. These canons are established to ensure the integrity, impartiality, and fairness of the judiciary system. They provide guidelines for judges to maintain public trust and confidence in the judicial system. Violations of these judicial canons will get a judge punished. When defense attorney number 2 attempted to better articulate the explanation for defense attorney number 1's objection, the judge immediately snapped and raised his voice over the white noise that was intended to prevent the jury from hearing the sidebar discussion. The judge angrily said, "Only one lawyer argues. 2 lawyers can't argue one argument." As defense attorney number 2 attempted to tell the judge that he meant no disrespect, the judge then summoned the deputy in the courtroom and ordered him to return the lawyer to his seat. Defense attorney number 2 immediately went back to the counsel table as the deputy was walking towards him. Florida Judicial Canon 3B4 says, "A judge shall be patient, dignified, and courteous to litigants, jurors, witnesses, lawyers, and others with whom the judge deals with in an official capacity." When the judge lost his temper with the defense attorneys, snapped at them during the sidebar, and then illegally ordered the deputy to use unlawful physical force, the judge violated this judicial canon. But wait, it gets worse. Judges are required, within reason, to allow attorneys and parties to be heard according to law. The judge's unlawful threat of physical force, by ordering the deputy to return the defense attorney to his seat, didn't just call into question the judge's impartiality, but also unlawfully deprived the defendant of the right to be heard according to law. The U.S. Constitution and basic human decency requires due process. Anything less is just a kangaroo court. Procedural due process requires notice, the right to be heard, and an impartial decision maker. Florida Judicial Canon 7B says, "A judge shall accord to every person who has a legal interest in the proceeding, or that person's lawyer, the right to be heard according to law." When the judge deprived the defendant, through her counsel, of the right to be heard, he also deprived her of the right to due process. Oh, but this judge wasn't done yet. You must realize this interaction during the sidebar probably happened quickly, as in over the course of a minute or so after what could have been hours worth of testimony. Defense attorney number 1 immediately realized the impact of the judge's comments in front of the jury. He asked the judge for a recess so that he could draft a motion to disqualify the judge because the judge's impartiality in the proceeding was now obviously tainted. The judge only gave him 45 minutes to research, draft, and file the motion. The judge then, after denying the motion to disqualify, said that he could still be fair to the parties. Isn't that typical? We've investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. After improperly denying the motion to disqualify, the judge said the motion was simply a trial tactic. Florida Judicial Canon 3B1 says, "A judge shall hear and decide matters assigned to the judge, except those in which disqualification is required." And Florida Judicial Canon 2A says, "A judge shall respect and comply with the law and shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary." The judge later admitted that he disregarded the applicable rule of law and didn't consider the motion from the defendant's perspective. Let's listen.
Disqualify you. You improperly denied the motion because you said you believed it was a trial tactic. In disregard of the applicable rule of law, you did not consider the motion from the defendant's perspective when considering whether to grant or deny it.
After a complaint was made, the Florida Judicial Qualification Commission investigated, and that commission's findings were adopted by the Florida Supreme Court. The Florida Supreme Court decided to issue a public reprimand for Judge Baily's actions. When I say public, I mean very public. The Florida Supreme Court summoned the judge to appear in person to accept his reprimand, which the court filmed and published on their very own YouTube channel. I'll put the link to the full video in the description below. This was what we call a one-way conversation. The judge wasn't permitted to speak, as he was just there to listen before he was dismissed from the courtroom. The remarks made by the Chief Justice of the Florida Supreme Court, well, let's just say that they cut deep, and it's no surprise that he was voted out of office.
We all recognize that this is a sad day for you. It is also a sad day for us and for the entire state judiciary. This is a matter that we as a court take very seriously. The effectiveness of our courts ultimately rests on the trust and confidence that the people give to us as judges. When judges fail to conform to the Code of Judicial Conduct, the integrity of our system of justice is brought into question. Though none of us can undo what you have done, we have ordered you to appear today for a public reprimand as one way of redressing these wrongs. In administering this public reprimand, we assure the public that we take misconduct by a judge very seriously. For the failures to which you have stipulated, Judge Baily, you are hereby publicly reprimanded for your misconduct. You're now free to leave.
Thank you.